Not happy with the governor's decision. I'm not here to knock the gov. That's what am I saying? What I'm getting at is this one-size-fits-all approach, and the target isn't really being hit by closing the businesses to the extent we're talking about. Because we've had several calls with our local government folks on many of the counties around here. And they're saying, like, look, the businesses are complying. They're doing the distancing. They're doing most of what they need to do. And you got exceptions and stuff, but what they're seeing is that the large gatherings of families or events like that is where they're seeing the hot spots happen from. Like some of our counties over there in the valley, they had an uptick, but they've been in communities where there tends to be large family gatherings, and they've been pent up so long, they're more likely to happen now. And it's tragic, like for example, if there's a funeral in the family, they don't feel like they can go, and that's very important. Or if you got someone really ill in the hospital, maybe it's their last meal, people want to be able to do that stuff. So flexibility, I guess, is the key thing. And for what I would like to get across the governor is listen to your locals, okay? Listen to your supervisors, listen to your county, your city council members, and take their advice and incorporate that into, not COVID, I got to
So do you think for
anyway.
Nevada County specifically with their conditions, do you think the governor's order is too far then? Does it make sense? Do you want the county to reopen?
Well, I mean, open within the reasonableness that we're talking about here. Can we still maintain, by and large, the distancing and the mask wearing where those folks asked for it to be done, So do those basic things, and it'll work out, because the hot spots are not this. The hot spots are, like here in this county, it seems to be up in Truckee area and those areas, the east side of the county, where there's a lot more people coming from the Bay Area, a lot of moving around and stuff. So it's really flexibility. Listen to the locals and put in a program that works towards the goals, but also because what you have here in Grass Valley, Nevada City, is a fantastic downtown. Both of those have really great, especially at Christmas time, right? They're fantastic. And if we lose all these, it's going to take away from the character and hurt a lot more, and it's unnecessary to hurt that way. So we asked the governor to have he and his team listen to the locals and come up with a plan together, not just like bam, all of a sudden, like this one, restaurants told no more inside, some of them none at all, and they built up inventory. They have all this fresh food and without even any like a week's warning to dissipate or get rid of it, and that's really harmful to them. So that's kind of what we're trying to get across.
So what about businesses like these that are still doing indoor operations, despite the order? Like you said, they still have inventory, things like that. So do you support that because there was no warning? Does that make sense for these businesses?
It's kind of a deal. Work with their locals on it. What's your county people say? What do they do? But some are going to rebel on that, and so I don't know how that'll settle itself. I'm not the guy that's going to go around and say you got to do this, you got to do that. I'm more libertarian than that. So, but I think reasonable people can come up with solutions that are going to work out. Like for example, let me look it up quick. Our counties in this first district, and most North State counties are doing a fantastic job keeping their numbers down. Okay, neighboring Sierra County has 0 active cases. They shouldn't shut them down. Plumas County, just up from them, 5 active cases. Placer down here, and that's a large county, a population of 400,000. 315 active cases out of that's less than 1/10 of 1%, I think, or whatever. Nevada County, 52 active out of a county of about 100,000 population. That's pretty good. Now, if something starts to flare up, then they can put the brakes on things a little bit, but it's working so far. And in Nevada County, we're looking at, again, probably 3/4 of this is happening in East County. It's not happening here. Bottom line, listen to the locals. And then one other thing we're doing with the governor, too, is that there's funding that we in Congress sent out to the states and the cities and the counties. Well, the city and county money goes directly from the federal government to 500,000 larger cities and counties. So below that, it goes to the states for them to divvy up. The governor or the state or whoever has not divvied up that money, at least 3 months old now, to places like Grass Valley, to places like Nevada City and the county. They're below that threshold, they can keep it. And the governor's trying to say, well, we're going to use this leverage if you don't do what we tell you to do. We're just asking him to listen to what our folks know here on the ground.
So, but as far as like listening to locals, we've seen a recent spike across the state. It seems that like a lot of these counties have variances to open up, which is kind of like listening to locals.
Yeah,
but they haven't shut down, which I guess that would be the argument, right? That
well, you got to ask what is the reason for the flare up, and part of it is that by having more testing, you're going to detect more. But your real action number is how much hospital space is there. What are the active cases, and they're still really low. Now, let's say Houston, Texas, where they've had a pretty good flare-up. Okay, they should put the brakes on things a little more until they get it under control. And maybe, if that's the same in our large cities here, they might have to have a little tighter restriction than here. I'm just saying float with what your numbers are, where you are.
Okay.
And the governor should not be leveraging the dollars that the federal government was sending directly to these local entities as ways to make them jump through their hoops. Okay.
So what about reopening in terms of like government services? I know a lot of these folks they came from a protest that was protesting the board of supervisors for not having an open public meeting.
They need to find a better way to open up services. People, they need their DMV licenses. They need, one that my niece brought up is that the bar exam can't be administered to new law school graduates. Well, why not? Figure it out. Separate people out 6 feet. Have the test so people can move on. Life still needs to happen. If all this is going to be based on whether there's a vaccine or not, who knows when, and if we're going to have a successful vaccine, and not everybody's going to take the vaccine. The line should not be the vaccine. There's going to be a big part of this is going to be herd immunity. I think at the end of the day, I don't think we can stop this thing. It may, wear itself out. It might morph out. I don't know, but we have to find a way to, find the happy medium between what we're talking about here. So,
and just lastly, what about? Is there any opportunity or is there a chance for state funding? Outside of what's coming down federally.
I don't know how. I can't speak for what the state's going to do right now. The state seems to be using it as leverage. They're threatening state funds in some cases. My understanding, whether it might be law enforcement or other things. So I don't know if there's going to be as helpful. But we're going to have to do another bill in Congress probably at the end of the month. It might be another trillion, maybe $1.5 trillion. And I want to put provisions there that says we're going to send the money direct to the smallest counties, the smallest cities, bypass the state. And if the state doesn't make up for the money that it didn't do already, then we'll have to take it out of the further state money that might come forward. Because, if the governor wants to play that, then maybe we'll have to play it too. Okay?
Thanks, appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, Congressman, and you guys, this is good. These are some local business owners who are being impacted by these decisions. And, I mean, these are, Sergio's, obviously the owner of this, Friar Tuck's up in Nevada City, and they're done with it. And I think these would be some people you really need to talk to as well.
You need to talk to us.
I'm with you. I know what that feels like. I have a business not like yours, but when you have your restaurant inventory that you brought in and they tell you, boom, next day can't do it, that's going to kill you. And so we're talking about how I want the governor to give you flexibility and listen to the locals on how to do it, because your problem here isn't in Nevada City and Grass Valley. It's up on the east side. It's the hot spots. How do we fix the hot spots? Not everything.
Right.
So, shall we?
Yep.
Okay. Thanks.
See ya.
No, and I don't think we're going to work in our federal
I have a lot
legislation.
of questions. I have a lot of questions. Isn't that what I ask you as well? Communities and stuff, they absolutely know it was much harder on
I'm Deanna. Nice to meet you. Oh, thank you.
My mom, my
I
dad
live in Frederick here.
took it over.
You guys get a good conversation.